I'm gonna put you on speaker, and then we can talk. And then if it's anything you want me to share later, you can. Actually, put it up on that. Okay. Okay, so we have Ryan Bundy here. Today is, actually I have no idea what day today is.
22nd.
Today's the 22nd of May, and we're going to record...
23rd. Wow.
Sorry, Ryan. The days all blended for us out here. Good job knowing the right day. So today's the 23rd of May, and we're still out here at Camp Liberty protesting outside of the Southern Nevada Detention Center that we refer to as a hostage center for political prisoners. And we're just going to let Ryan share a little bit of the things that he's seen going on in there. Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
Well, just letting everybody know that I'm still in solitary confinement. And to describe that just briefly is it's a concrete room that's 7 foot wide and 11 foot long, and that's it. Concrete, all 6 sides. And I've been in here now for the most part 2 months. But I noticed in the cell next to me, which I cannot see over there, but I happen to come to knowledge that Greg Burleson is placed in the cell next to me.
Wow.
Now, Greg Burleson is,
This call is from
is part of our case.
Yeah.
And he is blind. He is blind.
Yeah.
He's lost weight. He's nothing more than, skin and bones. And he walks around with his little stick that he taps, tries to figure out where he's at. He can't read because he's blind. And so how much of a danger can a man like that be?
Right.
And why do they have him in solitary confinement, punishing him further for things he did not do? Now, I noticed that they took him to the shower yesterday, not for punishment like they were for Ammon, but just to let him take a shower. But to move him across the hall, they handcuffed him, a blind man, behind his back, and added leg shackles.
Wow.
To shuffle a blind man across the hall to take a shower.
Wow.
I cannot believe the stupidity and the atrocity that these people are putting on men.
And
Now, Greg,
you said that these people are putting on them. Do you think that these prison guards are innocent and they are just doing their job, or do you feel there is weight to be held on each person who is choosing to put the shackles on you guys?
I'll tell you how I feel about it. Satan's work from before the world began was to try to take away the agency of man. And any person, whether he be in government or any position, anyone and everyone who works to control another man is working for Satan and fulfilling Satan's purposes, whether he realizes it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so every one of these guards are Satan's servants. Everyone in government who attempts to take away or control another man in his choice is Satan's servant. Any man within his own family or woman, when I say man, I mean mankind, man, woman, either one. Anyone who attempts to control another's choices is fulfilling Satan's purposes. Okay?
Yeah.
You simply cannot take somebody's choice away from them and not be working for Satan.
Yeah.
And so these guards are Satan's servants.
So there is a weight and a responsibility. I was telling you before we started recording this about the sign we made that said, prison guards equal human traffickers. We've actually looked up the definition of human trafficking and come to the conclusion that that's exactly what is happening in this facility, which is why we're trying to reach out to these guards when they walk by and talk to them and let them know they are responsible. They're complicit in the crime of human trafficking.
Yes, they are.
And
And they, they don't want to see it that way. They say, "Oh, I'm only doing my job," blah blah blah. Well, yeah, you're doing your job. You're taking your paycheck home at the expense of another man's suffering.
yep,
Well, what is slavery if that's not what slavery is? Slavery was the plantation owners or whoever is benefiting from the suffering or the labors of another.
yeah,
That's the definition of slavery, and that's what they're doing in here. Is they're profiting. They're taking home their paycheck on the suffering of other people.
yeah,
Okay, I've tried to bring that up to them, and I said, and they said, "Oh, we're not making you work. We're not putting you into servitude." I said, "Yes, you are." I go, "I have an obligation to my wife and my children to serve them and to provide for them. And because you're preventing me from doing so, and in turn you're taking home the paycheck, you're stealing my ability and my livelihood. If that's not slavery, what is?"
yeah. Yep, I totally agree. And I think most of us out here standing, we agree, but what confuses us all the time is why are thousands of people not out here marching around these prisons? You guys are not the first, and you surely will not be the last to be abused.
Well, you did hear my dream, did you not?
I did.
Consider, okay, that poor old cow
Yeah.
has been hid in the basement for
Yeah.
many a year, and that poor old cow needs to be turned loose.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's what these prisons are. That's what this prison industry is. Old Uncle Sam, which represents all these people that are the jailers and the courts and the prosecutors and the legislators. They all think everything's fine and dandy. They're just doing what they're told. There comes a point, though, when we're going to have to start doing what's right on our own, by our own choice and our own volition, rather than what we're told. And people, speaking of these guards and or other government people, they have forgotten their own freedom. They are enslaved themselves in their own minds.
Yep, they absolutely are.
Okay, they think that they are obligated and to follow this policy or that rule or to abide by that law or the judge said, therefore we must. They have enslaved themselves in their own minds.
Did you hear about the...
And
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Did you hear about what?
Did you hear about the guard that was put on unpaid leave last week? Apparently he said something to one of the supporters that was friendly, and they put him on leave and suspended him from work, and then told all the other guards they are not to communicate in any way, shape, or form, or to treat us in any way as though we are, we are something to be socialized with. They have to remain to be complete robots, so that they are absolutely slaves in there.
Who was that? What was his name?
I don't know the name, but about 3 different inmates all told me the same story of our political prisoners. They were all asking, do you know if the tall guy ended up getting fired or got his job back? They said he's on suspension for being nice to you guys out there. And it was just a passing statement. I don't know what was said. I don't know who he said it to, but it got back to his leaders or whatever in there, and they suspended him. But it was one of the tall guards.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if they
there's
so
a
much
lot of
as if they so much as smile at us and wave or say something positive, they're threatened with suspension.
Sure. Again, these jails are run as a communism,
You have 1 minute remaining.
and that's how it operates in here. It's a communist organization.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know we're down to 1 minute. I'm not gonna call back, but
Okay.
I just wanted to let people know that Greg Burleson, he is not guilty. I know that they said he was guilty in the jury, but you know what? He didn't do anything more than anybody else did.
Right. I agree
He
with
might
you.
have said some stupid things afterwards, But he shouldn't be judged upon what he said.
Right.
He has the freedom of speech.
Right.
He should be judged on what he did, and he is not any more guilty than any of the rest of us.
I agree.
I stand by Greg Burleson.
Thank you.
I stand by Greg Burleson.
Thank you for this message, Ryan. We're
Your
praying.
time is up.
All right, guys, so that was Ryan Bundy just calling out. He was given back his phone privileges yesterday, and he wanted us to know that Greg Burleson is not guilty, and he's not judging him on his words, and that we need to fight to protect people's free speech, but we also can't, I don't know. The Founding Fathers said only immoral people could be free, and yet we all have free speech, so there's definitely a fine line there, but Greg Burleson is not, he's not guilty of the charges that they have convicted him with. And he is suffering greatly in that prison for standing up with the Bundys. So we need to remember that, and we need to support him however we feel each of us can. And just keep standing, guys.